All right, team. So we are on our way to a CrossFit competition that Steph and I are competing in. Yeah, we've been in Michigan for a little over a week, so we're going straight into it off of just dialed in nutrition. Definitely no cheeseburgers or beer, and it's in a pretty unique place. There's some security stuff with getting there, so we'll see you when we get inside. All right, team. So we've got a pretty unique event going on here today. We are inside a correctional facility for a CrossFit competition, which is just mind-blowing. We're here with Aaron Brill with Redemption Road CrossFit. It's getting a little loud behind me, but because people are working out in a prison yard. So Redemption Road CrossFit, they have 4 affiliates here inside of Colorado Correctional Facilities. The program is just amazing, but we got a really pretty unique interview, so we'll show that later on in the video. But it's just been a really awesome day so far of just everybody just supporting each other and just seeing the impact that this program has on inmates.
You paid to come to prison. That's rare. Somebody's first. Who was it? This is our first CrossFit competition. Yeah, we got a couple of firsts. Their story of their first competition beats yours, because theirs is in prison, right? So they can forever tell people about their competition that was in prison. The things that are about to happen, you'll be able to say I was there just before that. I helped raise the money, which was $10,316.
If you take these people and you throw them into a world of chaos, their leadership and their character stands as a light, and that changes people's lives. That's what changed my life. Jonathan Willis, Trevor Jones, Mary, the people that are here right now made the biggest difference in my life when I was in a dark place. And that's what we aim to do for other people. We can't do it alone, so we thank you so much that you guys do that with us.
ISO, let's get it. Whoa, clear out the room, I'm coming through. They wanna see what I'm about. Yeah, I got skills, do it for the thrill. I'm on a paper route. Extra, read about it. I'm today's trying to top it. I put commas over bullshit. Yeah, I put that on mamas. They tryna block all my blessings. They thought I lost for stepping. I bet on me and my team. ISO is what I'm repping. Put on for the whole city. Yeah, I got them rocking with me. I bet on me and my team. ISO is what I'm repping.
Sending emojis. I'm blowing a pack of that OG. Don't be acting like you know me. And if you did, that's the old me. Winter time, rock a cold fleece. Pocket fat, that's obese. Only talking money if it's increased. She give me brain, girl, no teeth. I touch down, bust down. She busted open for a real day. Stay Tommy'd up, trying to build it up, trying to count it up, hill figures. Don't be chilling with no lil, no. And if I do, I be real with them.
All right, Matt. Thanks so much for taking time to meet with us today. We're in a correctional facility doing a CrossFit competition. Yeah. There's inmates. There's citizens, mixed teams.
Yeah.
What's your take? What are your thoughts on the environment so far?
I mean, when I showed up here, I didn't know what to expect exactly. We have male inmates, female inmates. We're inside a correctional facility. We have civilians coming in. Some of them partnered up with inmates. Like, I didn't know what it was going to be like, what resources they would have, how official the event would be run, and coming in here and it's like, this is incredibly powerful. It's when people preach and talk about community, this is the peak of that, bringing people together with one common goal. And then there's, this trickle down of benefits that are just a side product of the goal. Well, I'm excited to, get involved, stay involved.
And
Yeah.
that was actually one of my next questions is what's the next steps if you're getting more involved in the program? What's that look like?
And so they had mentioned something about this. I didn't want to say anything on the Zoom call, so I reached out to some of the people that are there for, the assistants, and it's just like, hey, is that the type of thing that I can come to? If so, like, I'll get it in my schedule to get out there. And I just wanted to see what was happening. I wanted to see it firsthand. I wanted to experience it. I wanted to meet the people so that when we have phone calls, I have a face. I know the face I'm talking to, and just trying to figure out where am I most useful, where is my best fit, what can I do that will have the most bang for the buck.
And I think you've spent some time with some of the inmates. Have you talked to them about what the program has been like for them?
Yeah, I've had a couple Zoom calls that were, an hour or two apiece, and then once I got here, continuing those conversations and hearing about what it's done for them, whether they had a short sentence and now they're out, and how, it transformed their life of the little bit that they were in, and now how it's affecting them while they're out. And then you have the inmates that are in for a longer stretch, and how it's changed their day-to-day life, how it set the tone for the rest of their actions throughout the day. Even though they're only working out for an hour, how, all right, well, if I'm applying myself and trying to be better in this department,
right,
let me try doing that in this department. And then, seeing how that is, trickling out into the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
That's
great to hear. I mean, it's just like somebody who's not on the inside of a correctional
Well,
facility,
exactly.
same thing you see with every athlete, so it's no different.
Yeah, it's very rare that someone is dedicating themselves and trying to be better physically and being healthier and all that, and then not applying that same effort into the other facets of their life. So whether you're inside or out, it's kind of the same. How you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to see how much you can give to the people around you instead of how much you can take, it's a very easy switch to make, but a lot of times there needs to be that encouragement or that example to show you like, oh,
right.
It is gratifying. There's that sense of gratitude when you work hard towards something or you do something nice, and it's hard to describe why you feel better about it, but you just do.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
If anything, you're coming away from it with a huge fucking dose of gratitude.
Yeah.
Of just like, the things like, when everything's going perfectly in my life, a hangnail will ruin your morning. You're like, dude, this thing hurts, I'm catching it on everything, how could this happen?
Right.
And then you need to get a kick in the teeth of reality every once in a while of like, oh, there's people that made a mistake 30 years ago.
And they're still
paying for it. Like, I'm going to walk away from this weekend, if nothing else, way more grateful for the things that I've become accustomed to and take for granted.
So I got to ask you at least a couple CrossFit questions if you don't mind. So you're retired now, starting your own supplement brand, partnering with the Buttery Bros there.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine just enjoying not having to grind all day, every day. What?
I'm still grinding. I'm working more now than I ever did before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I retired from competition. I'm working more hours than I ever have.
Okay.
So like podium nutrition is like one thing on the side of everything else going on. So I'm in the juggle of it's new, working for myself, going from the work I knew of, like, if I wanted to win the games, I knew what I had to do. I knew how to train, I knew how to recover, I knew how to eat, I knew how to interact, everything.
Right.
And so now it's putting that same work ethic, and it's not as physically demanding, but much more mentally demanding.
Absolutely.
And it's something else. I'm a beginner again. So luckily I have some good guidance around me, people showing me how to not make some mistakes that they made when they started out. But yeah, I mean, it's just applying yourself and trying to get that little bit better every single day. It's the exact same. Stuff like this, I hope I get to do more of it.
The fact that you will. I mean, you were a legend to so many of us.
And
you're here. It's just amazing.
And like I understand that like people take something from it of like, whatever facet of my story, my career that someone related with, That's fantastic. You know, the sobriety part of it, you know, the failing on the big stage and then like working to build back up, or just like the work ethic, whatever part they relate with, that's fucking great. For the last handful of years, I've been incredibly isolated.
I bet.
I see Sammy, I see my manager O'Keefe, and then the few friends that I stay in close contact with couldn't give a shit about what I do in CrossFit. Perfect example was like, my buddy bought a car in New Hampshire. We had to drive a couple hours, and he said, "Hey, I need you to get up at 5 a.m. tomorrow, drive with me to New Hampshire, and then drive this car home." And I was like, dude, you want me to drive 8 hours in one day so you can go pick up this like $1,400 car? And he just dead looked me in the eye and was like, "I flew all the way to California to watch you fall off a rope." And I was like,
That's great.
And so those are the people that they don't care about my performance.
Right.
Like, that's been my motivation with Sammy of like, she doesn't care if I win or lose.
Right.
Like
They
she
care about you.
hopes that I win for my sake.
Right.
But I'm coming home to the same hug and love, you know? O'Keefe, been my best friend. He was betting on me before I ever won regionals. And so keeping those people in your life that they're there to support you whether you're doing well or not. They love you if you're trying.
Yes.
And so I've been very isolated to seeing the impact of like what people relate to, or like watching my story, and you know, so many things come up of like a random piece comes out in an interview and someone will latch onto that, and like I'll hear about it later and it's like, oh shit, I never would have thought someone would relate with that.
Yes.
Cool. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but
Yeah, I mean, we can jump on that. I think they're about to start that next event.
thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Thank
you.
you, Matt.
Yeah, yeah.
It was such an honor to meet you
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hello, world. Just
Hold on, 182-967,
Yeah, yeah, that's
report to not visiting. 182-967.